time for a Wednesday whiskey review. Winner of the poll last week was the Belmont Farm Kopper Kettle bonded Virginia whiskey, which, being bonded, means that it is at the very least 4 years old and bottled at 100 proof. That's 50% alcohol by volume. It is, of course, a product of Virginia. It is exactly 4 years old. Distilled from corn, wheat, and barley in Kopper, Virginia. It's about $32 a bottle, which is reasonable for a bonded whiskey. This isn't a bourbon. So I'm pretty sure that it is matured in applewood and Virginia white oak. I'm pretty sure that in order to be bonded, it has to spend its 4 years of aging time in white oak, and it can't undergo any further aging because then you lose the ability to call it a bonded whiskey. So my guess is that they put like applewood staves or something into the barrels. I don't actually know. Oh, before I forget, on the 23rd of July, Master Distiller Joe O'Sullivan and Head Distiller of Clear Creek, Caitlin Bartlemay, are doing a virtual tour of the Clear Creek Distillery while they distill a run of their award-winning McCarthy's Oregon Single Malt, which is a peated American single malt whiskey. They're running this virtual tour through the Whiskey Lodge Discord, which should be a lot of fun. We get to see, or we get to take a look at the process of distilling an American single malt whiskey, and Joe's a really cool guy. You're going to be able to ask questions, and he and Caitlin will be able to answer them. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I absolutely recommend joining the lodge and joining us for the tour. Alright, now that I've got that out of the way, talk about this. It's an interesting color. It's kind of a coppery amber color. Not as much red in it as I expected. I guess it's more of a golden color than coppery amber, but it's interesting color-wise. On the nose, there is some definite like light fruity notes, definite grain texture. Grain sense. I can smell the wheat and the corn. It's a very, very soft, gentle, chocolatey note that I'm pretty sure comes from the wheat. Sort of a rich, earthy, chocolatey note. And those fruit notes, a little bit of ethanol zing, and a little bit of corn sweetness. Oh, I still had a drop on my tongue. Okay, that's better. It's got not exactly a burn, but like you can feel the slight astringentness of the alcohol. thin on the mouthfeel. It's got like a chocolatiness with a light oaky smoke. That fruitiness that I think has to come from the apple wood. Um, it's interesting. It's very well-rounded um, and complex whiskey um, with like a really good like low-level like earthy chocolatey notes and a little bit of like grain shininess, and then like that light fruit that, like I said, I think has to come from the applewood that sits right on top, and it's a nice bright note that adds a nice layer of complexity to it. But yeah, very interesting. A little bit of light floralness to it. It doesn't have a lot of willingness to stick to the mouth or the throat, but it does hang around a little bit. Sort of gets a little bit strangely, slightly briny and bittersweet towards the end of the finish. Pretty good. Do I enjoy it? Yeah, I think it's pretty good and interesting whiskey. It doesn't fit into the bourbon mold, even though it might fit the mash bill. I mean, corn, wheat, and barley. I don't know what the numbers on of those are. It's complex. It's interesting. It sort of defies categorization because it's definitely not a bourbon. It's definitely not a rye. It doesn't have like super strong wheat characteristics, but it's definitely an interesting and worthwhile whiskey to try, especially at the price. I think it's a good, affordable, and interesting example of what American whiskey can be. Do I recommend it? Absolutely, yeah. Especially for $33. I think that it's a really good value option and a good look at what at someone who's doing something a little bit different whiskey wise. And I think I already answered do I think it's a good value? I think it is. Especially, I mean, even if you decide you don't like it, it still carries good traditional whiskey flavors and will make very good cocktails. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth the money. I think it's a good value, and I think that I can absolutely recommend it. Now I've got to talk about filling its hole. I need a whiskey to sit in that spot, and unfortunately at the moment, I'm out of Virginia whiskey, so I'm going to have to drop one of my standard go-tos, Glenmorangie 10-year-old original, Glenmorangie the original 10-year-old, which is of course a Highland whiskey. Now, in order to vote in the poll, you have to be a member of my Patreon. It's really simple and inexpensive. It's $1 a month. It gets you access to these videos early, exclusive Patreon content, access to the Drinking Geeks Discord, which is separate from the Whiskey Lodge Discord, where you can talk to me, members of my local whiskey club, and I do some stuff there that doesn't even make it to YouTube for Patreons to see. And you get a say in what I do cocktail-wise as well. I think that covers that. If you'd like to support me, but you don't like Patreon or would prefer a one-time contribution, I have a Ko-fi. There's a link in the description down below where you can donate a small amount of money. It's phrased as like buying a coffee. I'm also selling these adorable That's the Spirit pastel stickers designed by my friend Alyssa at Apricot Studios. They're on Etsy. They're $3 a piece. Once those are gone, there won't be any more of them. I also have a Redbubble store where I am selling just a couple of designs at this point. Some that are that predate this iteration of Drinking Geeks. Some newer ones, including a different pot still design that I did myself, more as a see if I could than with the intention of selling it. But it turned out well enough that I feel comfortable selling it. So it's up for sale. I think that is everything. So stay happy. I messed up my own outro, even though I know what it is. Yeah, no, I started it right. Stay happy, stay geeks. Sláinte. It is really interesting. I think it's sort of like Dogler, but done better. Anyway, I'm recording something to leave in at the end here, sort of a bonus to those who see it. I am back to wearing my suit. I kind of stopped because, it's just one more step, one more thing to do. But I had the time to put it on today, and I kind of like it. I think it lends me an air of sophistication and sort of respectability that might help. I don't know. We will see. And my pride flag and pride thumbnails will stay up until I get tired of doing it, because I'm not bi just during June. I hope that addresses any questions that anybody had. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.